guys, you had sent me some questions about being a queer Muslim, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about my personal relationship to Islam and being a queer Muslim and how I keep parts of my identity preserved. This video is gonna be a 3-part series. The first part is my personal journey to acceptance. So let's get into it. The first time that I had a crush on a girl was when I was 13. I remember telling one of my really close friends at the time. She kind of just like questioned me. Up until that point, I never questioned myself or my sexuality. I was just like, yeah, I like this person, and to me she was a person. I didn't see her gender and it wasn't a big deal to me. So when she questioned me, I was just like, oh, okay, this isn't a normal thing. Even though like growing up I didn't see a lot of queer visibility at all, but to me I feel like even as a kid when I was 13 it was important for me to feel like I'm always standing by my truth. Going into high school, I tried to be transparent with my friends and I did get judged a lot, so I tended to just not talk about my dating life with anyone at school, which was hard. I didn't have any queer friends. That leads me to like when I was outed in 2019 when me and Anjali went viral. A lot of my extended family didn't know. It hurt those relationships. It hurt my relationship with my mom and my immediate family. I don't get to see a lot of my extended family in Pakistan anymore because it's just like weird. It was hard because it was such a 180 between my experience and Anjali's experience. We were like published in the newspapers in India. We were like in those like WhatsApp chain messages. My like conservative uncles were like sending those to the family members in group chats and stuff. While Anjali's family was congratulating her, they sent us like a physical copy of the newspaper that we were published in India. It was just such a stark contrast. It definitely took me a few months to understand that my life is visible now, and like I can either choose to ignore my platform or I can do something with it. With my courage and Anjali's advice, I chose to do something with it. It wasn't fun being outed, but I think it took me a year and a half, maybe even 2 years to get used to the fact that everybody in the world will know me for my relationship and like how extremely politicized it was. Like that was one of the reasons why we went viral, because Anjali like grew up Hindu and Indian and like I'm Pakistani and I grew up Muslim and we're a queer couple. None of those things ever mattered to us in our relationship before we went viral, and I still feel uncomfortable and sad thinking about it happening that way. When it comes to like religious guilt, I remember feeling a lot of it when I was younger. When I went to college, I was kind of just like, okay, I have so much more autonomy over like my schedule, my life, and my body. I feel like that's when I started to form my relationship with my faith and not caring what anyone says about it. But when I was younger, I did do the whole like trying to pray the gay away. If I guess choose to not suppress my sexuality and my identity, then I'm going to have a harder time than the rest of my friends. And I did have a harder time, but that was like a conscious decision that I made. I do remember praying to Allah, and I guess in my prayers I would say, I hope my mom doesn't freak out. I hope my family understands. I think what really helped me was in college I made a group of queer Pakistani friends. A majority of them were men. In college was when I like finally felt like I had a queer Muslim community. That was really nice because I could talk to them about my dating life and I could openly celebrate Eid with them. I could do cultural and religious stuff with them. I could go to the mosque with them, go to different sections of the mosque, come out and be like, yeah, we're gay, and no one here knows, but like we know. When it comes to justifying being queer and Muslim in the Quran specifically, I went to my first queer iftar in 2017 when I was still in college. I remember seeing so many queer Muslims there and like feeling really at home. There I made some friends. We kind of like looked at the Quran from a less patriarchal lens. Religion and spirituality and everything is just interpretations, all perspective. I learned to read the Quran again. I also read it with English translation, so I understood most of it. When I was growing up, I only read the Quran in Arabic and I didn't learn Arabic. Nothing made sense to me and I didn't understand what any of it said, and I always wanted to know. I kind of just like relearned it for myself. That really helped with the guilt. I also went to Pakistan in 2016. I explored a little bit more of my spirituality. I was never a conservative religious person. I was religious growing up. I went to Ikna and I read the Quran every day. I grew up Sunni and I hate the whole Sunnis hating on Shias and Ahmadis. In my heart, every religion is just a different path that leads to the same ending. I started to explore Sufism. That really helped me with my queerness too, because I started to learn about Rumi and Shams and like other queer poets, Rumi being one of them. There have been people before me that have been queer and Muslim, and I'm just one of them. All those things definitely help with religious guilt, and having two identities that people in their heads may clash so much made so much sense to me in my heart and in my head. So the second part of the series is my relationship with my Muslim community and my Muslim family. I did come out to my mom many times and she always just like denied it and refused to believe it. Basically, I had to come out to her more than once. When it was said in that capacity, it was always just like brushed under the rug and it wasn't ever talked about. And I don't really think my mom told any of her family members about it or any of her friends about it, so I couldn't talk to anyone about it because I was like really scared at that point. When I was outed and like the whole world knew, it got bad. My relationship with like my mom's side of the family changed. Like I lost all contact with them. My relationship with my dad's side of the family changed, and I've always been more closer to my dad's side of the family. My aunt that I grew up with, that is like a second mother to me, she didn't really understand it, and she understands me a little bit better, but we're still more distant than we were before I came out. It did very much like alter the trajectory of my life and my relationships. So now when it comes to community, I feel like if anything, it just made it stronger. To me, my friends are my family and my community and my biggest support systems. Did I feel like I needed to come out to my mom? Yes, all the time, honestly. I think when I hit like 16 is when I kind of like started to like rebel against my mom's rules. I was just like thinking for myself at that point. We just always bumped heads a lot because she's headstrong and I'm also headstrong, and we both have strong opinions. She would just like, you know, say very conservative things like, oh, like wear a headscarf. And I'm like, you don't wear a headscarf, why should I wear one? Learn how to cook with me. And that was just like, you know, obviously I wanted to learn how to cook. Who doesn't at that age? But she was portraying it as a thing like, oh, you're gonna cook for your family, you're gonna cook for your husband. That's how she grew up and that's what she learned to be the norm and like the place of a woman. It was really weird. Like it was just, oh, you know, like you're going out late, like you're with your boyfriend. And I'd be like, dude, I'm fucking gay. Like I don't have a boyfriend. I'm literally just hanging out with my friends. Just be like, oh, you can't go out so late as in like 10 p.m. You know how Muslim parents are. It was always just like me coming out to her in like a very intense way. It was never like me sitting her down. I never had capacity to do that. It was always just like very explosive. I don't think it's fair, but I do kind of understand why maybe she thought like I just said it out of anger. My advice to everyone, whether you're Muslim and queer or not, please take your time. Don't feel the need to be out and like come out. Do it when you're ready. Do it when you're financially stable, and where like if you come out to your parents or like anyone that you're staying with, like if you're ever kicked out, you have the ability to be able to house yourself or like have an exit plan. Genuinely don't ever do it out of impulse because that could leave you in a dangerous situation. Also, if you could think ahead and try to have a community for queer Muslims, like try to have a queer Muslim community or like just even like a South Asian community. Don't feel the need to come out in order to feel valid in yourself and your sexuality.
Muslim people are not all Allahu Akbar boom, not like this. We are cute. We are Allahu Akbar, yes, like this. Not Allahu Akbar boom, not like this, please.
So by now y'all know that I am a queer Muslim therapist, and when I say queer Muslim, I am very proud of the way that those identities beautifully merge together. I know that for a lot of Muslims who are queer, there is a lot of anxiety about what it looks like to coexist together within these two identities. For me to assume that there's something that I need to reconcile is to assume that there's something inherently oppressive about Islam, which there isn't. Islam is inherently for liberation. My faith has brought me so much closer to healing and happiness and being able to feel like I actually belong in a place where there's purpose. Relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very, very sacred. And I want you all to know that when people look at you and they assume that you can't be a person of faith or that you as a queer person need to detach from Islam because it is oppressive, I want you to know that that is just product of colonization. All of the laws in Muslim countries that criminalize queer people are a product of colonization.
ويعود الهوى ككبش ذبيح بذكر الإله تطيب الحياة تسر أسارير وجه صبيح تسر أسارير وجه صبيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح
Cool Rosita lo bubble gum, eso me parece cool.
Reggaeton champán, pam 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 pam.
For movies and TV shows that feature queer, Muslim, and/or Arab characters, because while Pride is about being super fun and gay, it's also about liberation, and all of our liberation is time. First up, We Are Lady Parts on Peacock. This show is fantastic. The writing, the acting, the pacing, it's a fantastic show. It's about an all-Muslim girl punk band, and while honestly all of the characters are queer-coded, one of them is explicitly a lesbian. I've talked about Signature Move before. Very sweet, very cute, very wholesome. The main character is a Muslim Pakistani lesbian, and the story follows her relationship with love, her family, and becoming a wrestler. My girlfriend is Lebanese, and she put me onto this movie she grew up watching that takes place in Beirut called Caramel. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. I think you have to pay for it, though. It's a rom-com that follows a group of friends, and one of the friends is a little guy. It did come out in 2007, so you're getting some textual queerness, but, like, it's not hard to find. Finally, The Bisexual on Hulu. I love the show. It's starring, written, and directed by Desiree Akbon, and it follows an Iranian lesbian who realizes she may not be a lesbian. Really good show. Happy Pride!
You have no idea how lucky you are to look the way you look now and to be the way you are. And you are perfect just the way you are.
Do not sell marijuana to my husband.
Okay. So you're this.
Yeah.
But you're also this.
Yeah.
And you're this?
Yeah.
How does anybody date you?
It's hard.
You must be right. This is an amethyst, except an amethyst is big and strong. This one is not the best example. Something is clearly wrong.
Just wait till I blow up!
Oh, na, na, na. Put your hands in the air if you're loving tonight. Oh, na, na, na.
There's no problem, Akhi, as long as you are not interested in paradise and have no problem in going to hell. You have no problem. You can skip fasting.
Bitches got a milli bitches on go. Those silly bitches, I'm Achilles bitches, yo pop. Who the fuck wants smoke?
How bad could I possibly